The meanings of the 12 grounds. Buddha-san, you asked earlier about the meaning of ground. Like the ground, the mind can hold 1,000,000 asamkhyeya merits. Like the ground, the mind can produce all causes and effects. Buddha-san, a bodhisattva sage, having completed the 10th level of transference of merit, sheds the ways of an ordinary being and is born into the Buddha family, joining the holy multitude as a holy bodhisattva indestructible by the 4 maras. As he sees the equality of diametric dharmas, his great faith gains full strength for the first time. He then observes the no birth of dharmas in the highest truth in the middle way, as he progresses from the 1st ground to the 2nd ground to the 3rd ground and even to the 11th ground. The 1st ground is called the joyful ground because, with his mind in nirvana, he observes dharma doors in the dharma stream. He joyfully sees all dharmas in the one appearance of no appearance, and sees his 2 kinds of dharma bodies as boundless, no different from Buddha lands. The 2nd ground is called the taint-free ground because he observes the emptiness of sentient beings without being attached to their appearances, manifests 1,000 Buddha lands, and demonstrates the 6 transcendental powers as if free from causality. The 3rd ground is called the radiant ground because he walks the path of ancient Buddhas and studies sutras in the 12 categories as a radiant means to deliver sentient beings. The 4th ground is called the flaming wisdom ground because he begins to have endurance in his realization of the no birth of dharmas as he observes their existence and non-existence. He observes the merits adorning Buddhas above and observes sentient beings below on the 6 life paths. With the 4 immeasurable minds, he gives them happiness with great loving kindness by teaching them the Dharma, relieves their suffering with great compassion, celebrates their happiness with great sympathetic joy, and regards them with great equability, free from love or hate. The 5th ground is called the hard-to-conquer ground, because, with endurance in accord with the Dharma, he subdues his afflictions as he sees that his ignorance and doubts in the 3 realms of existence are empty. He conquers worldly knowledge by acquiring the 8 eloquences to discuss cause versus effect, and Buddhist versus non-Buddhist ways, and by mastering the 5 studies, which include outer knowledge, inner knowledge, medical arts, logic, and incantations. The 6th ground is called the revealing ground because, with high endurance in accord with the Dharma, he observes that all dharmas of the past, present, and future are convergences of causes and conditions. In the Dharma realm, causes and conditions are all in nirvana without exception. The 7th ground is called the far-going ground because he achieves low endurance in his realization of the no birth of dharmas as he observes that his afflictions, which disappear as soon as they appear, neither exist nor not exist, and that his present body is his last in the 3 realms of existence. With each thought in nirvana, he accumulates the immeasurable merit needed to ascend to higher grounds. The 8th ground is called the motionless ground because he achieves middling endurance in his realization of the no birth of dharmas, ends his karmic requitals in the 3 realms of existence, and undergoes changeable birth and death. With the wisdom knowledge that the dharmas have no appearance, he observes dharmas that go from existence into non-existence as a manifestation of impermanence. He sees Buddhas rub the crown of his head and give him the teachings, and expects to harvest the holy fruit, as he does inconceivable training of his body and mind. The 9th ground is called the good wisdom ground, because with wonderful radiance he achieves high endurance in his realization of the no birth of dharmas and manifests as Buddhas. The 10th ground is called the Dharma cloud ground because he realizes the highest truth in the middle way and achieves low endurance in his attainment of nirvana. He walks the place walked by Buddhas, sits on a lotus flower seat made of 1,000 treasures, and receives from Buddhas the prophecy of his attaining Buddhahood. He learns from Buddhas how to deliver sentient beings, ends his 2 kinds of habits, and brings his great faith into full strength. He realizes that all in the Dharma realm are equal in true suchness, and that the 2 truths have the one appearance. With full knowledge of sentient beings' capacities, adorned with a garland of immeasurable merits, he assumes all shapes and forms simultaneously. The 11th ground is called the stainless ground because he achieves middling endurance in his attainment of nirvana, and upon completion of this training ascends to the great mountain top. He enters 100,000 samadhis and learns the deportment of a Buddha. Although his many impermanent achievements go through birth and death, his mind abides in that which is asamskrita. Having completed the preceding 10 grounds, he sits where Buddhas sit. His enlightenment virtually equals a Buddha's, and his wisdom penetrates the duality of dharmas such as permanence and impermanence. Though almost a Buddha, he is still learning to be a Buddha. However, Bodhisattvas on lower grounds cannot know his state. Buddhas call him a Bodhisattva, but Bodhisattvas on lower grounds call him a Buddha. Why? Because this holy Bodhisattva, using his great transcendental powers, lives for 1 billion kalpas and manifests as a Buddha, from his birth to his attaining Bodhi, to his turning the Dharma wheel, and to his entering parinirvana. When he expounds the Eightfold Right Path, he looks like a Buddha, though he is not actually a Buddha. Virtually a Buddha, he displays the deportment of a Buddha. Abiding in 100,000 samadhis, he takes all Buddha actions. He then enters the Vajra Samadhi and confirms that all dharmas are in the one appearance of no appearance, abiding in nirvana, a state beyond causality. The 12th ground is called the perfect enlightenment ground, because he achieves high endurance in his attainment of nirvana. As a Buddha, he has completed his work for self-benefit and universally does good dharmas to benefit sentient beings. Therefore, his mind in perfect enlightenment is called the Buddha store, which silently illuminates all dharmas, while the minds of all bodhisattvas, shrouded in their ignorance of the truth in different degrees, remain in illuminating silence. Buddha-san, when I was in the 4th dhyana heaven in the form realm, I explained to 8 Koti Brahma kings that the Tathagata who transcends body and mind silently illuminates all dharmas. Buddha-san, I now have briefly explained this meaning to open the door for this huge multitude to take good dharma actions.